You know those loud tire cars that pop up at the beginning of my review since 2018? You know. Yeah, I'm retiring that shtick and replace it with something more presentable and easy to the ears. Now here's Lunatic Calm.
I wanna take you on a roller coaster.
Why 6? Why not? I reviewed SimCity 4 before I even reviewed the previous games, and I still haven't reviewed them yet. In 1987, Accolade's Test Drive was a driving game by Distinctive Software, founded by Don Matrica and these other pricks. It's a rather groundbreaking game, with a great selection of licensed cars like the Testarossa, the Corvette ZR1, and the Turbo Esprit. While it's quite liking being a game where you only drive a cliffside road, it was a great success, as it was released in many home computers at the time. A sequel was made 2 years later, titled The Duel, Test Drive 2, like Rambo 2's full title. It was more successful and, while it has more title tracks yet only has 2 cars, data discs were released, which expanded the car list, introducing muscle cars and the ones from the first game, and it was also the first Test Drive game to be ported to the consoles. 1990 saw the release of The Passion, Test Drive 3, wait no, it's the other way around, shit, which was an attempt to bring the series to full 3D. It was ambitious, but compared to the first two, this is a dark horse, being developed in-house by Accolade, and early release for MS-DOS. Regardless, it was praised somewhat by critics. And then, silence. No Test Drive game until 1997. DSi, on the other hand, made stunts, which is like hard driving, but you can make your own tracks, and it served as an inspiration for the Track miniseries. Then EA bought the studio and renamed it to EA Canada, and they went on to create the Need for Speed series. Meanwhile, Accolade contracted Elite Systems and the newly created Pitbull Syndicate, 2 very British developer teams, to create 2 new games to the Test Drive series, the former being the creation of the Off-Road spin-off series, and the latter being completely different from the previous games. They were very successful commercially, but not critically, continued the TDU Platinum regardless, even if they became stale repetitive by the time Off-Road 3 and Test Drive 6 were released, when Need for Speed was becoming more popular and more fresh on each entry as time goes by. So yeah, I'll be reviewing Test Drive 6, released this time by Infogrames after their Accolade acquisition in 1999. For f***'s sake, just call yourselves Infogames. I'll be playing the PC version, but it's also on the PS1, which many people played, remember fondly, the Dreamcast, which I heard was the worst port, and the Game Boy Color, which is a port of Test Drive 6 for the Game Boy Color. Need I say more? I have to say, as someone who hates covers of songs, and also hates the sweaty feeling of learning that a song is actually a cover, I actually enjoy Fear Factory's version of Cars. It retains what I love from the original while adding rocky instrumentals, and it doesn't make my ears bleed. You're not Susie! Actually, it's because this version has Gary Newman singing half the lyrics. Okay, so I created a profile specifically for the review. You can do a practice race, which is just a single arcade race, or into the race mode, which is the career mode. Gotta choose my first car and... Yeah, I should talk about the presentation first. I'm making it an exception. I don't mind much about the scenery, it looks fine for 1999 standards. It has stretched textures and the trees look weird when you drive, but other than that, it's actually fine. Although the tracks look ugly as heck, like Egypt. Yeah, it's not as good as High Stakes. My main issue is the cars themselves. They look ugly. Those are some of the worst attempts at replicating the cars. Look at the Prowler! Look at it! The Caterham looks like an old car. Not because it actually is based on one, but because it looks more like a 1920s car. Oh, the poor skyline. Look at the taillights! Look at the taillights! They're so tiny! I could make an excuse that they're lifted from the PS1 version, but even there, its taillights are actually sized. Oh god, the Impreza. The front is fine. The back? Ugh. I know it's from 1999, but even the cars in High Stakes don't look as ugly. At least they look better than the 4th gen Camaro in Test Drive 5. You know. Wait, no. I already found worse. And these models are in the Dreamcast version. Just shame. Before you ask, yes, I do heard of a mod that replaces the models with higher quality ones, but I'd rather be playing with the originals for reviewing's sake. Right, now that I'm done ranting about the shitty graphics, let's actually commence the game. Unlike the previous games, you now have cash to spend on cars and upgrades. You have 40 grand at the start, and you must buy a class 1 car since they are around the price range. Unlike previous games, the cars are now divided into classes because some people realized that the Communist Manifesto doesn't apply on inanimate objects. Choose your ugly car you want, put a color you want, any color, unlike a limited selection depending on the car, and buy it. For my first car I went with the Mustang Cobra Jet, and painted in cyan and pink. Trans rights, bitch. On to my first tournament. You have to bet on yourself in order to race, so basically it teaches kids about gambling. Rated E! Well, at least it's fake money, but still, where was the controversy on that? For gameplay, the physics are wonky. Sure, you don't skid when you turn normal, which is refreshing to me after playing Wipeout and Vanishing Point. It kind of makes sense for an arcade game, it's just that when you jump, your car might swerve or do some unintentional spin. Even if you're on the road, you might cause a rollover, especially in the faster cars. It's uncommon, but consider the crazy nature of the races, you might cause one in your lifetime. And goddamn, even if you're fully upgraded, you still gotta tame the powerful beasts to prevent swerving and fishtailing. Also, despite being locked at 60 frames per second, it kinda feels like I'm playing at double speed. The controls are sensitive, the sense of speed enables your brain to react to an incoming cornering time, and watching the replays is like watching a silent movie from the 1910s. I don't know how to cap the frame rate to 30 to test this theory out. I tried fraps and limited to 30 by recording it, but still makes the game cap at 60. Then I tried the PS1 version and sure enough, that's how it is supposed to be. Another thing that makes the physics wobbly is because of the traffic. Oh god, the traffic. They're so fucking annoying. Thanks to this new mechanic they have called racer avoiding, they try getting away from the driver. Emphasis on try. This sucks. If you race on oncoming traffic, chances are the traffic AI will screw with your expectations. They wiggle, they can swerve to your racing line, they're confusing little shits. The crashes are inconsistent too. It may be depending on the car, but if you're in a traffic car, you might just slow down or make you flip your car and let the game reset you. And top it all off, the crossroads. Need I say more? And the tracks? Oh god, the tracks. The first one you most likely ever race is in the Pelton Raceway, which is a nice track with smooth inclinations and fun cones to drive onto them, plus the pit stop that doesn't restrict you from speeding.
Well, hello and welcome again to Motor Week. We're glad to have you with us.
Then there's Cape Hatteras, which is in the Caribbean or Californian, until you learn it's in North Carolina of all places. A good track with bumpy shortcuts if you're really there. It's way worse when racing backwards because of this part before the final chicane. It traps you and it can lose your chances of winning during the last lap. Man, f this part. England, lifted from 5. Which part of England? I don't know. Its long inclinations and traffic are two of the worst combinations in the game. But at least we get these advert billboards on the track side. Go on, eat one today. There's another track taking place in England, which is London, one of the 5 linear tracks in the game. Like its predecessor, it has less point tracks and circuit tracks, and I'm okay with that. Back to London, I didn't expect this to be this wide. Next is Ireland, with this part where you're forced to drive on the grass. Let's talk about the inconsistency of the track surfaces. Yeah, grass may slow you down, but you know what else does? Sidewalks. Yeah, both that and the street are at the same height of sorts, and it caught me off guard the first time. Oh, you wanna see something worse? Driving on the hard shoulder slows you down as well! What ass backwards bullshit is this? Oh, grass slows you down, but sand doesn't? What the feck? It might seem like I'm nitpicking here, but god damn! I like that the tracks have randomized skies every time you start a race. It can rain even, which can cause your car to go slippery. Yeah, that sucks in tournaments. Rome, another linear track, aka what London should have been. Tight roads, even tighter shortcuts, driving downstairs because why not? Egypt, which part? Cairo? Oh god, this track. It's so tight, so wavy. So many sudden corners makes this one of the slowest tracks in the game. And the bullshit part only just begun. Jordan, another TD5 track, it's infamous for its undulations, so why not bring it back in? Another problem with some of these tracks is that some sections are tight, which can trap you by the dumb AI drivers. Lake Tahoe is notorious for this. There are some tracks that I like the Caribbean and the Italian tracks from 5, due to its lack of bumps, and basically every linear track in the game, because those AI cars are dumb and can leave you far behind, especially in Class 4. By the time you reach the Class 3 tourneys, the AI is gonna get relentless with their methods of rubber banding, as well as the wobbly tracks and the traffic it likes to throw. For the AI, you can adjust its difficulty in the options menu, as well as disabling cops and traffic, although that doesn't work for tournament. It has its predetermined value, so tough luck! Look, this code just wants an easy challenge from time to time. Ah, an easy challenge, you say? I'll give you an easy challenge. Oh god, the Twin Towers are in this. Oh, can't forget about the cops. They're nothing more than just a nuance. They can fund you from your wallet, which isn't a lot, but you rarely get arrested. You'll escape them very easily. Let's talk about tourneys. Like I said, you have to bet on yourself over the minimum bet. Once you're done, the race's first prize will multiply to 1.5. If you finish second, you'll get your money back, but in third, you only get a quarter of that back. Don't worry if you finish 4th or below, you'll still progress. It's just that you have to be first in the tournament to win the pot money and to progress. And it's a rally style type thing where it's based on track time rather than points. This is just the opposite of Wipeout. Time based, yet you can progress no matter the position. For other modes, you have single race, which you only race in the linear tracks that are unlocked. They can either have a time limit or not if you adjust it in the options menu. Cop Chase is a new feature for the series. If you think it's gonna be like Hot Pursuit, hold that thought. It's much more simplified. All you do is ramming the cars until the bar depletes, and gives you some cash. I keep trying to get the last one, but it seems impossible for me. They go far away from me, and even if I get close, the fucking traffic gets in the way, or they finish the course. It's a bit like Hot Pursuit 2 actually, but I'd rather not be a bootlegger. Thanks. Then there's the challenges, which are time attack events, where you must finish the track before time runs out, obviously. Man, even with more traffic, it's as easy as saying boring. Let's talk about the cars again. Sure, I've already ridiculed the looks of it, but I gotta say that here's some cars that you rarely see in any other game at the time, and even today, like the XK180, the Venturi cars for GT2, a Marcus Monterey, Project Vantage, a concept car based on the Vanquish, a Caterham, a pickup truck in a test drive game? Get out! I like diversity, it's why I like to buy another car for every tournament. It's just that they look ugly. Sorry! It's just that I don't like the looks of them! Well, I've done the first Class 4 tourney. Let's do the usual and buy another car for the next.
I implore you to reject that thought. Continue on with what you have. You mustn't throw away your sources of accomplishment and waste money to diversify a collection. Now go forward, my daughter.
Huh. Gosh, these tracks aren't suitable for these cars. It makes them uncontrollable with the jumps. And the AI isn't any better. They make mistakes and like to rubber band a lot. And apparently they can change colors between races? Why can't I do that? Man, Class 4 can either be intense and tedious. They're so long to finish, it is tiresome to race on the same tracks, except in reverse in the same tournament. Damn, I forgot Switzerland was a thing in the game. I've already talked about the graphics, so let's not beat around the bush when it comes to sounds. They suck. The engine noises in particular are some of the worst I've heard. It makes Need for Speed Underground sound like Most Wanted. Like, what am I hearing? That's not how a Viper should sound like. The cover sounds so pathetic. Am I driving a giant version of a rebuilt car? I beep for whoever did the sound for the cars. And like Vanishing Point on the PS1, apparently there's no Doppler effect for your car on the replays. Come on, the PS1 version did this right. The soundtrack is all licensed from Fear Factory, featuring Gary Newman, Empyrean, Cyrus, Eve 6, Geohor, Lunatic Calm, and those other two. Each track plays a specific song for it, so get ready for repetitiveness. Now, I don't mind hearing the song so many times if they're instrumental. I get really annoyed when I have to hear something like Eve sits on the menu going 1,000 faces off. They'd make me do this!
Yes! Feed me with your anger.
And don't get me started with cars. As much as I like the cover, it's really annoying when it plays in the races. Ugh. Tired already. I'm gonna play Vice City and forget about this.
Children.
Intensity, people of my city, I give you Gary Newman.
Back to Test Drive, my actually favorite song in the game is Cyrus's Time's Running Out. When I first heard it, I mistaken it for some random mini song, as to begin it sounded like this. Then I heard a bit further, and then this happened. Holy shit, that is awesome! Sure, the vocal parts seem to be about black people and their past and hopes for the future. At least that's my take on it. Still banging though. Of course, it has Lunatic Calm's Leave You Far Behind, although that's getting a bit overplayed, even in 1999. Should have chosen Roll the Dice. And why is this random rap song doing here in the music folder? So far in the game, I still haven't heard of it yet. Oh, there it is. It's fine, but it's quite unfitting in races. Maybe it's foreshadowing the next game's usage of rap songs. In conclusion, Test Drive 6 is a really mediocre game. I feel like nothing is different compared to 5. Sure, it has a cash system, car classes, and playing as a cop, but it's kind of like High Stakes to Hot Pursuit, only worse. It's like, hey, I dyed my hair back to black, yet I'm still the same old mediocre Sassy. You can get it easily on my abandonware, if that site still exists, but I just recommend getting High Stakes. Oh shit, October is fast approaching, and I have the perfect outfit for the month. You've gotta be shitting me.